We now return to Let's Play BattleTech, the final mission. Okay. I think we'll go first, just in case I can see something. I cannot, because I was hoping for a sensor lock.
Got it.
No. Enemy contact.
Enemy detected.
70 tonner, okay.
Tell me what you need.
I almost think that we should maybe just send someone over here. Maybe you, since you could very easily... Shit. Could very easily overheat. It might behoove me to have you in the water. And in fact, it's probably a good idea just to have that too for you, because... why not? Alright, there's more. It took you long enough, Kamea. I was beginning to wonder if you'd turn tail and run. It wouldn't have been the first time. I'm here for you, Victoria, and the justice of House Arano rides with me. How poetic. I have no justice for you, Kamea, no flowery words, no, only pain and death and humiliation. Lord Madeira will be your audience. Let him go, Victoria, now. Quit wasting your breath. We've both waited for this long enough. Come to me, cousin. Let's finish this.
Follow me to victory.
Okay.
Standing by.
Why don't we just do this?
Copy that.
Cataphract. Do you think we could knock it out? 240. I don't think we could. Elite flanker. It's all laser too. I think I'll just let fly on this. Although that severely, my god, I mean look at what that does. I could sensor lock the Jaeger mech and we could easily take that out. Sensor lock the cataphract and get rid of some of its evasion and maybe... I want a better shot.
I've got a sensor lock.
Okay.
Come closer, dear cousin. Come closer.
Okay.
Standing by.
You're gonna come out here. Expose yourself greatly. I guess I don't even... I'm gonna do it anyway just to build up evasion. And we're gonna get rid of you.
All weapons are go.
Well, we would have... Okay.
Okay. That one hurt.
We got some heavy shit.
Yep. Confirm.
Really? That's the best I can do there. In that case, we may as well go there. Although, we don't need to be wasting that ammo. This might be a little bit tough.
Taking the shot.
I may have overestimated how well that was going to do against him.
Engaging jump jets.
35. One lucky core shot with that. We're gonna risk that? 90%? I don't trust it. We'll do it this way.
Engaging multiple targets.
Of course not. Of course not. Guarded too. That's what I'm not paying attention to.
Tell me what you need.
She's taking a bit of a beating.
Copy that. I'll make it happen. Pierce through the armor.
Send your lancemates to me, Kamea. And watch.
Jesus.
They flagged my armor.
Okay. Bad news bears right there.
Orders. Jumping.
That's a shit ton of armor there. And I've lost out on all this. Fuck. That's probably not at all. One of these has got to die. That one has not gone yet, but I'm spreading fire in ways that I really oughtn't be.
Copy that.
I needed to be doing something else there.
My mech is losing internal structure. Damage is light.
Fucking come on. I put too much faith in taking this thing down. And right now, I'm not helping myself at all.
All weapons committed.
Follow me to victory.
Alright.
Enemy mech destroyed. Damage minimal.
On.
Reporting. Minimal damage.
Orders.
What did we do to that anyway? Nothing. Okay, we seriously need to be doing something else here. One of these has got to fucking hit that core. That's what we need.
Multiple targets confirmed.
Not a single fucking one.
How'd that taste?
I hate wasting a precise shot just to aim for that stupid fucking torso, but that's apparently what we gotta do. I'm thinking about...
Affirmative.
Oh my fucking god.
Inflicting heavy damage. My heat sinks can't keep up.
Oh my fucking god, can we
We're
just...
inflicting system damage.
Fire and steel.
We've almost got that blown off. But I really want this fucking thing dead. Can we just? Do you think you can maybe hit the center on that?
Engaging multiple targets.
This is farcical. This is fucking ridiculous.
Yes, Commander.
Oh my god.
Acknowledged.
Still haven't killed that arm. Dude!
Ready for orders. I copy.
As it should have been. Finally! Fuck's sake!
Mech destroyed.
Ridiculous. You're as much a victim as you are a murderer, Victoria. Your father raised you to kill in his name. And you are a fool. Your father raised you to believe you were a hero of some ridiculous fairy tale, and you still believe it, even now. I don't know what I believe anymore, but this madness must end, and if you won't stop it, I will.
Standing by.
You're about to be ended here pretty damn soon.
For justice. For the restoration.
I'm taking heavy damage.
Can we just not? Jesus Christ.
All weapons committed.
All this death, the coup, perdition, mastiff, all of it for nothing. It was always for nothing, Victoria. The Directorate was never going to be the return to glory your father promised. I know, cousin, I know. Our fathers lied to us. There is no future for the Reach. You are the hero of nothing. Nothing at all.
I'm sorry, Victoria. You left me no choice. But
Okay.
make no mistake. Justice has been served here. I am the sword of restoration. And Cormadir is free.
Well, I realize this has been a very sloppy mission. I was kind of counting on taking out the fucking Jaeger. I mean, you would just think that that'd be a fairly simple thing to do.
Affirmative. Watch my heat level.
You would be wrong, of course. That's exactly what we needed there.
I think I hit something good.
Shit, even Kamea might be able to come out and take a shot without fear of completely being destroyed.
All weapons committed.
There you go.
Enemy mech destroyed. Mission.
Alright. Well, we took some heavy damage, but fortunately, all the weaponry, I mean, that LRM-20 is a crit. I don't know if that means it's going to be useless to me now, or what. If it'll repair. We don't have anything I really want to keep. Well, the awesome. LRM-15 pluses. The gyro, I guess. I don't know why. Energy weapons accuracy. If I ever... these things are too big and bulky. I'll probably never ever use them. And I guess I'd take a cataphract because I've got nothing else. I wish I could see how many... I've got two. Two AC-20s. I would never use them otherwise. Oh, wait a minute. What the hell am I doing? There's actual pulse lasers in here. Cataphract can go home. I need to be paying more attention to... I'll never use the gyro. Yeah, okay, now we're good. Got the cataphract anyway. Did not get the gyro. Oh well.
I began this restoration because my birthright was stolen, and I wanted it back. Not for the people of the Reach, but because it was mine. I wanted war, for all the wrong reasons. But on Weldry, I traded that naivete for nobler purpose. Seeing my people suffering with my own eyes taught me why I must fight. On Artru, I found humility. Blinded by righteousness, I was reckless in my pursuit of power, and it almost cost us the war. On Guldra, I learned to steel my heart. I chose necessity over conscience, a choice that nearly broke me. Finally, on Coromidere, the world of my birth, I found resolve, and standing over my cousin's broken body, victory. Only through these lessons, paid for in blood, did I become a ruler worthy of title. A high lady prepared to sit the Cormorant throne, the protector of Coromidere, the sword of restoration. But this question still plagues me. Am I a hero? Did I sacrifice too much at the altar of victory? Do my triumphs outweigh my mistakes? War is a clash between conscience and necessity. An ocean of chaos and bloody compromise. War shapes history. And history chooses its heroes. As for you, mercenary, You made the liberation of the Oregon Reach a reality. Every trial I faced would have been my last without your skill on the battlefield. I still don't know if you fought for honor, or for the thrill of it, for belief in my cause, or just my money. But whether it was your noble heart or mercenary mind, your actions gave us hope. That makes you a hero in the eyes of history. And you know what? It doesn't matter if you believe it, because others do. As I believed in the heroes of my father's stories. After all, when we are gone, stories are what remain.
Okay. Well, finally. This, I don't know, I really started out liking this game, and after a while, it became tedious. I don't know if maybe that's just the way that Harebrained makes their games, because I remember feeling that way playing Shadowrun. You know, the Shadowrun games were good for a while, and then they just hit a point where it went on too long. And I don't know if it's just because I was doing the same thing over and over, or what. This game, I feel, does have a few flaws in it that perhaps made it a little bit more of a trial to play. For one thing, I understand, I never played the tabletop game, the original BattleTech game. So I don't understand just how closely this game followed the rules of that original, as far as piloting statistics and all that, if that even existed. But there were a lot of things that were confusing. First of all, the statistics. I mean, how many episodes was it where I was still checking to see what piloting did, what guts did, it's unintuitive, and in particular, it took me a long time to learn precision striking doesn't come from gunnery, which frankly is idiotic. To have this badass gunner, level 10 gunner who can shoot the broadside of every barn, but can't shoot a leg. Like, you can't aim at a leg. Why? Well, I'm no tactician. I mean, that doesn't make any goddamn sense, that tactics is what allows you... I understand what they were thinking, right? Because it's like, well, aiming for something is more tactical than just blindly firing guns, but to be a good gunner and not be able to just say, okay, this time I'm going to aim for that big fucking shoulder, it doesn't make sense. Maybe the other point of what they were doing design-wise was that so that you didn't just load all your points into gunnery, for example, and halfway through the game you had a level 10 gunner who was just total badass and could precise strike and headshot and all that stuff. Maybe that's what they were doing. But I don't feel like the pilot statistics were done correctly. I understand piloting, being able to keep them stable and all that makes sense. But piloting... There was a couple other things piloting does. It's just like, why? Was that a piloting skill and not a tactical thing? I don't know. I feel like they could have fixed that just a little bit better. And definitely the single most frustrating thing about the game was how goddamn long everything took. I understand the cinematics, and starting out, it's actually very fun to see that, to be down there and see the mechs stomping around and getting a cool shot as they fire across the battlefield and all that. Even turning all of that stuff down, and the patch where they made it so that you... Holy crap, there goes my mic. Where it speeds the game up, that's still not fast enough by the end of the game. And the worst missions, I feel, were definitely the ones where it was just overkill, like, you got to face off against 8 mechs, and half a dozen vehicles, and turrets, so it takes you half a goddamn hour to wait for your next turn. That is agonizing as a player, and you'd think that through playtesting they might have figured that one out. And I just don't know. This game is horribly unoptimized, and I feel it's because they used Unity. And this is just sort of a general problem now with all these smaller studios. I understand that, you know, you're trying to streamline things, you're trying to do things with minimal expenses, especially when you're small, especially when it's a Kickstarter game and you are limited in funding. I get that you're trying to make a game as most efficiently as possible. You know, 20 years ago when BattleTech came out, or whenever it actually came out, it was early 80s, I think. Around that time, you know, if they made a computer game, and they did make computer games, you would be, a development studio would be making that from scratch. They'd be using their own engine, they'd be doing it, it would take 3-4 years to develop it, but it would come out polished, all that shit. I understand that these guys had a Kickstarter thing, therefore they had a timetable because they had backers, they had limited funding. Clearly the team is not, I mean, they look like they've got a pretty sizable team here, but it's still not as big as a full development studio would be, and there's a lot of young people, and let me say, being in my early 30s myself, I understand, but not everyone has the years and years and years of computer background, computer science background to develop a full game. So yeah, Unity engine exists, fine, let's take it. But clearly there are limitations to using things like the Unity engine, or now the Unreal engine, or, you know, all these engines that have been out there now. Everyone's just using them, but you're limited to the limitations of those engines, and clearly, I mean, my computer is only a couple years old now, and when I built it, I'd give it an A-, you know? I put in pretty decent stuff. It was still struggling with this game in a way it should not have been struggling. The whole thing of you know, having too many save states will slow it down to load. All of the stuff. The game is slow enough as it is the way it plays. You don't need your goddamn system hanging on all of this as well. A little bit more optimization would have made this a little less frustrating, and very much the ability to, as I had mentioned, just skip through combat turns. Like, if you got everything turned down, it should go the same way in Civilization. You can turn it to, like, tactical mode, and it's basically 2D pictures of little symbols moving and stuff. That sort of thing should have still been in this game. Like, when you've turned off all animations and shit. Okay, that shouldn't be playing. That's kind of annoying. When you've got all combat animations turned down, it should seriously be like, bloop, your guy just moves, and then, like, beep, you know, shoots the laser, and then you're done, and moves on. But this game, even when you turn down all animations, all that shit, it still hangs afterward. Like, you get shot, and then it takes that couple of seconds of just like, oh, it got past my... I don't give a shit, okay? I see that you got hit. I'm ready to... It's so aggravating, and maybe that's just impatience as a player, that you get really into these tense situations in combat, and this is like, I need my turn right now to finish what I'm doing. It doesn't help adding those seconds in between where you have to wait and wait and wait until you get your next goddamn turn. It is so aggravating. And the way the initiative works, too, like, I understand the whole class thing, putting you in initiative order, but apparently there was also a hidden initiative thing that I didn't understand, and that should be tied to, like, piloting, or maybe tactics. Who gets to go first? I would put it in piloting myself, but I could understand that. Oh, it's Knorr. Interesting. I would get, you know, I would get that. I would get that higher piloting, okay, like, you got 2 assault mechs, the guy with higher piloting is going to go first. It didn't feel that way at all, and maybe without being able to see enemy statistics, like, maybe that's how it is behind the scenes, but I don't have that information, so I don't understand why so many times, you know, the enemy would go before me, even though Like, all of their guys would go before me. Like, I just... And if that's all that is just artificial difficulty, then that sucks. Because they could have easily made it so that there was, you know, piloting adds to your initiative or something. I don't know. Those... Did you see that? The card game? I've got BattleTech cards. I don't recall those being the back. Were those the old card game, or was that... Are they remaking it? Because, it's Fantasy Flight who's been remaking all the old ones. They've made Legend of the Five Rings, which I've bought. They've got, Android, which is Netrunner. They've got, so maybe they're gonna remake... I'd be happy with that. I'd be happy if they remade... Because they made Dead Town, too. Or Deadlands, rather, as well. Doomtown. They remade that. Well, shit. If that was a little bit of a spoiler there, that they're remaking BattleTech, I'm totally down with that. Anyway, so yeah, the game is enjoyable up until it gets too much. And in particular, where it became too much was the back and forth. That one mission where we go across the galaxy, takes me a month to get there, and then they send me right back. Like, no. See, this game now, apparently, is going to let me do free play. I guess. I don't know that. I just watched a video that suggested that. So, but if that's a thing, then okay, great. But my problem with that is that sandbox mode should never be after campaign. That should be right at the beginning. You should be able to say, okay, I don't want to play the campaign. I just want to go through and play. Because that's how kind of the old BattleTech games were. BattleTech for the Super Nintendo was somewhat like... Well, it was somewhat like Sid Meier's Pirates, actually. Like, there was the overall, you need to pick up clues to find your family, or whatever the hell that story was. It was a revenge story. But you could play and go take missions and whatnot. And to be fair, this game does that. You don't have to go through the campaign missions. But if you don't go through the campaign missions, then a lot of shit doesn't progress. I feel like this game, given how slow it is, especially, should just have been campaign mission separate, and then you can do open sandbox like it is now, only with less time in between campaign, or just straight up, I just want to do sandbox. And as I said, there is a mod out there, apparently. It's called RogueTech, which does that. From what I've seen, it completely randomizes your beginning. You might start with an assault and some weird-ass lasers and all this stuff. I mean, the weaponry. Again, I still don't know that that's heavily balanced, but I think it would definitely make it interesting and give you a bit more variety and replay in your game, because that's the problem with this game now. There's no replay for me. Because in order to get to this open-ended ending, which I now have, I mean, that's the problem. Where am I at right now? I've got a ship full of assaults, and really nothing to do except max out my dropship and try and get achievements, because what am I going to do now? The map is not full. I can't go travel the whole inner sphere. That RogueTech mod unlocks it and allows me to do that. But right now I have no reason to continue playing it, and I'm certainly not going to go back and do the campaign again. You know, I mean, that's where the flaw of replayability for this game is. Now, yeah, there's skirmish mode, there's online player mode. For players like me who don't do that, what am I going to do? You know? Like, what am I going to do with the game? I feel like that's a bit short-sighted, too. Yeah, I mean, for what it was, I guess I enjoyed the game. It was ridiculously frustrating at times, and I think I've laid out my case for how the game could have been improved and a little bit less frustrating. Are we done here? I guess I have to press escape. Okay. Epilogue. In orbit around Cormadir. Gaz, Darius, Samire, Yang, Farah. Through your courage, skill, and sacrifice, the Reach has been saved, and I have reclaimed my throne. Without any one of you, our campaign would have ended in tragedy. I can never adequately repay you for your service in the Reach. I owe you a great debt as well. Without your company's help, I would be dead. I consider it a great honor to call you my friends. I'm not really sure we want him as part of the crew because he didn't really do much, to be honest. I'm not really sure we'll miss him being aboard either. But I don't really want to go full mercenary, so we'll go polite. If you ever get tired of politics, you're always welcome on our crew. And he'll laugh at that and be like, haha, because I'm a noble and you're scum. Although I'm a noble too, in my background. A compelling offer, Commander Yeager, I'll keep it in mind. It's a new era for the Reach, and I have your company to thank for it. The Directorate has fallen. Victoria is dead, and my uncle is in chains. Did we learn nothing? You took Espinosa alive. What are you going to do with him? Initially, I was going to try him myself, but Alexander convinced me otherwise. There are risks inherent in holding such a man for any length of time, and the Reach is in a fragile enough state as it is. Don't worry. He'll receive his taste of justice soon enough. There is no justice terrible enough for that man. That's probably true, Commander Yeager, but I trust Protector Calderon to give it his all. Of course he survived. Director Santiago Espinosa will be tried in a Torian court as the mastermind of the Perdition massacre. His war crimes tribunal is being assembled as we speak. The Torians were quite appreciative of the gesture. I'm sure they were, and that's the last we'll hear of Director Espinosa. He brought his fate upon himself. I'm afraid our time is growing short, Lone Wolf. We have a great deal of work to do if we're going to recover from this war. But if you have any final questions before we move on to the subject of your pay, I'll be happy to hear them. Oh, before we talk about money, I'd like to hear what's next for the Restoration. After all we've been through, I feel invested in your success. I was wondering the same thing. I mean, you've retaken your throne, and that's wonderful, but the Reach is in ruins. How are you planning to rebuild? Slowly and with great caution. We can't afford to spread ourselves too thin, but neither can we leave our more marginal systems hanging. In the short term, we're going to need to secure funding and support for resources from sources, Jesus, outside the Reach. The economy of the older Regan coalition is all but destroyed, and our infrastructure is in extremely poor shape. How do you intend to go about getting that support? However we can, political marriages will be invaluable. Our sovereignty is our greatest asset, and I'm still thinking through ways to capitalize on it. We'll have difficult times ahead to be sure, but we will weather them, Commander Yeager. The Reach is nothing if not resilient. And now, Lone Wolf, we should move on to discuss your company's compensation. You've certainly earned it. For your exemplary work on both on and off the battlefield, your financial debts are now forgiven. I don't think we had any more. I thought those were taken care of originally. Those were the terms of our arrangement, but you deserve a little more than that, I think. From this moment forward, the Argo is yours. I relinquish her to your control. You may consider her a bonus for a job well done. A second token of my appreciation is on its way to your mech bay now. Please accept it with my compliments. Thank you. We'll put your gifts to good use. Good, and with that, I'm afraid I must return to matters of state. My people need me, and I must get back to helping where I can. You will always be remembered as friends of the Reach, every one of you. We'll see you again someday, I'm sure. I'd like that. Until then, I'll bid you a very fond farewell. Be well, Lone Wolf. I wish you success in your adventures to come. I mean, Jesus, if we're mercenaries now, she's a great source of pay in this area. I guess that's it. Our contract with Lady Arano is over. The Argo is ours, and we're free to do whatever we please. Man, feels weird saying that. We can do whatever we want. We're not beholden to anyone. It's a pretty sweet feeling, though, I've got to say. So, who else wants to go and find some new trouble to get into? Peacetime is beautiful and all, but I'm starting to feel a little stale in here. I'm game if you are. Trouble is our business, after all. We've got more than enough BattleMechs to handle whatever fate throws our way. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm in the mood to earn a few Seabills, as if we don't have enough. Roger that, Gaz. You all heard the commander. Take your stations and make it quick. We've got an open sky ahead of us, and there's money to be made. Now that the war's over, and we're debt-free, we can go anywhere we want on the star map. No more hostile nations or sealed borders to worry about. Feels good, I've got to say. Now that I've reclaimed my throne, the Reach is again at peace. As such, I imagine you're more likely to need this Atlas II than I am. Take it with my compliments. You've earned it.
That mech you asked for is cleared for fighting.
Okay. Well, fun. We have got an ass ton of money. Let's go check this out. This just needs a repair for 2 days. And let's see. So we got the Atlas D and the Atlas DHT. A couple pulse lasers. We can add more pulse lasers. In fact, we can add those pulse lasers I salvaged to my other mech. That would be fun. Maybe get the Gauss rifle off of there. Replace the AC-20 with it. Make these my 2 flagship mechs. I don't know what else I'd go in there with. Got a catapult. Catapult's got 4 lasers. I wonder if I could turn this into a PPC myself. Probably not. A C1, I don't know if it's got enough points and armor, and besides it would be long range though. If I took it out, well, never mind. I was going to say I could just take out and make it nothing but LRMs, but even that's not too great. The Thunderbolts have served us well, and we've got a full set of SEs. We can probably get rid of that S. The Battlemaster. What would this have been? Yeah, see, no, however, let me go look at this real quick. This seems to be my much desired Hunchback replacement, even though medium lasers are not really what we need right now, but PPCs, maybe I could swap out all those lasers for another PPC. Get the machine guns out of there too, and then we could have really nothing. 2 PPCs and SRM-6. I feel like, well, I mean, this alone does more damage anyway, altogether. But that's a lot of stuff to replace. Go back. Go back, Christ. Okay. Well, what's my reputation? The Arana Restoration. The other one does not count anymore. So, what we could do, let's go look at the map. Let's see exactly what we've opened up here. Yeah, see, again, though, the map is cut off. So we've got this part, this portion, but we can go into space now. We can go into Merrick space. We can go into the owl space. We can go play around out here. But do you see the star rating? This is another part of the problem with this game, is that it had progressive difficulty, progressive to me, meaning that now all of these are either going to have like a dozen light mechs or medium mechs or something, or they're all going to be heavies and assaults. That's what the BattleTech mod fixes, because it's just random shit. You might get a really easy mission, you might get a really difficult mission. But yeah, I mean, and that's a thing that video games have done throughout history, is that in particular old Japanese role-playing games, you know, like the Final Fantasy games and all that, they all did the same thing. As you get stronger, so do your enemies, so now all that strength that you've got just kind of dissipates because the enemies just got tougher too. So that's kind of a problem I have with games in general, and in particular this now, because those missions where you have to hunt down a dozen medium and light mechs, those are annoying. I don't want to play those. And where it's just going to be a slugfest between me and a bunch of other assaults and stuff, well, I've already got my assaults. Like, I don't need to go collect more. So why would I do this? Why would I do any of this other than just completion's sake of getting a few, you know, building up reputation and all this stuff, and maybe getting a few cool mechs? I don't know. Maybe getting more missions in the Federated Suns opens up more Federated Sun mechs that I wouldn't otherwise have access to. I don't know. But I don't necessarily know that I have the compunction now to go check that out. I may someday check out that mod. I'm kind of burned out on BattleTech for a while, and so are my viewers. For those of you that did stick around, those couple dozen of you that have watched every episode, I really appreciate it. I hate having dangling Let's Plays, and I'm not the kind of Let's Player that does just, you know, oh, my viewers are tanking, so I'm going to stop this series and switch over. Maybe I should have, but this is a game I wanted to see to completion since I was so excited to see it. So, yeah, it's been a journey. It's been a journey. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, or been frustrated by it, or whatever by it, as much as I have. I will see you in the next Let's Play.